is a very large movement. When we think about the birth of democracy in Europe, then we have to go back to the French Revolution. That was not just all beautiful, all nice. There were times of crisis, even of fights, and this too could happen in the Arab world. It's not so easy, so it's not so clean.
And not only
but
that,
in the long run, yes.
And this is what we need to look for, because we look at the democracy and the time it took for Europe to understand and accept democracy, and we are expecting of the Arab world democracy within a matter of 5 or 10 years, and this of course is unrealistic.
That's unrealistic. But we have to see that what is happening now is the opposite of what the Islamic terrorists had in mind, because they hope to gather all the Arabs and the Muslims in a huge alliance, a violent alliance, an aggressive alliance against the West. This is not what is happening. It's the opposite. It are normal people, youngsters mostly, and we have to remember that in the countries of the Middle East, half of the population are youngsters. It's not like in our old Western societies. Most are youngsters, people who desire for a normal life, and it's really positive.
About the good things, what about the concerns?
Yes, of course there are risks, and the risks are real. There is a question, what will come after revolution when there will be elections? Which are the forces who are on the field who can take the lead in the political reconstruction of the country? And of course, it's true, there is still a danger that maybe a more Islamistic group in some country can take the lead and can take control, and maybe that we go from a more secularized dictator to a maybe more free, but more Islamistic government, with of course with legislation based on Sharia, and then we have to put the question, and what will be the place for the Christians?
And this is the challenge, because the Muslim Brotherhood, as we all know, have been in the wings for over 40 years. In Egypt, brutally oppressed and crushed by Mubarak and the Mubarak government. In Syria as well, the Muslim Brotherhood is present, and if you will, the most politically organized group is the Muslim Brotherhood. What does this mean politically, as you say, for the future constitutions of these countries? Will Sharia law be implemented to the detriment of the Christians in these areas?
Well, that's the question. That's the question for the next years, I would say. Maybe not for the long run, but for the next year, yes, that is a real question. But I think we should remember that this population now has this memory of the peaceful revolt, for instance, in Egypt, and where Christians stood aside of Muslims. The remembrance also of the fact that it was not the Islamic wing which pushed this revolt. It came from the very normal people. So, and that the idea is also to build a democracy and freedom.